Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered. Today we have Maz, Jamal, myself, and Amina. And I want to ask you guys this question. Would you physically discipline your kids?
Why are they
Jump
looking
right
at
into
Why are
it.
they looking at
No.
me? Why like? Oh, okay. No. Okay.
No.
At
As-
all.
No. Before we go into reasons, just yes or no. Yes. Are you yes?
Yes.
Why did you think about it?
I mean, I was
Okay.
okay. Just
All right.
yes. All right. That's my.
No.
I'll let you know.
Yes.
I'm on the fence. I don't know. It's complicated. Well, I'll get into that in a minute.
Sorry.
Why no? Since you're the only no.
No, you had a hesitant and you said you're on the fence. You guys had to go first.
What? No. As I'm saying, like you're the only no, real, because she's like kind of on the fence.
She's-
I.
No, but she
For the most part,
decided on
no.
no.
No, she did.
Are you a no?
Yeah, she
What are you
decided on
leaning
no.
more
She
towards?
said no.
I'm leaning towards no, but
Yeah.
uh,
It's an even
but I'm
battle
still,
here.
but I'm still on the fence. Like,
Talk to us, Amina. Talk to us.
okay, because like I was abused because of this whole idea of like, physical discipline being the only language that you speak to kids. And I don't know, I just, a lot of the times, especially in Black culture, they do it because it's like supposed to teach you or teach the child a lesson about like respect, for example. And I don't know, it didn't really teach me anything.
I think it's similar to Desi culture, right? In that
Yeah,
sense, I
it's
think.
similar.
Respect.
Yeah, no, it is
Adab.
similar. But
Yeah.
and I said this off camera, but like, a lot of the times the physical discipline, it wasn't just like with hands, it was like whatever was in reach. But it could also be things like wooden spoons, extension cords,
A hanger.
Yeah, a hanger.
The metal
I remember
hangers.
that. Yeah, my mom broke a hanger off of me once.
What did you do, Amina?
Nothing. But
Oh, okay.
and then
Not
I
forced.
also said the thing about this didn't happen to me, but it happened to my mom and her siblings. There was 8 of them, and 9 of them total. But like you have to, it's called going outside to get a switch. And basically, if a kid was in trouble, they would be sent outside and they would pick off a branch from a tree, and then they would get beat with the branch that they brought back to their parents. And so obviously that I'm kind of just like absolutely not, like under no circumstances will I be doing any of that. But also like I'm not gonna say that any of the abuse that I like suffered was justified, but at the same time it's just like I did turn out like, well, I don't know how to say it, but like I'm a really respectful person. I have like manners. I know how to speak to my elders. I know how to conduct myself in public and everything. Mashallah.
Do you think the reason
But-
for that was because you got hit though?
Okay, wait. I do want to.
I think
'Cause
that
I feel
it
the
has
same way,
something to
but
do
I
with it
didn't as
because,
much
like,
as,
I was afraid of, like crossing my mother, and I didn't want to I didn't want to like get on her bad side and get in trouble. But like,
But is respect formed in the form of like beating? Like is that
Wait.
where respect is
I don't
gained?
know.
That I do think though we should kind of not define, but maybe like kind of explain what we mean by like our
Beating?
physical discipline.
yes, physical.
Like because like
discipline.
with all that you said, I feel like we should kind of.
So what's physical discipline to you, or like what would you say like you would do or what you experienced?
I do think for me, what I mean by physical discipline, I mean like a slap or like, just hitting on the arm, like hitting with my hands.
Okay.
I wouldn't bring like other
So,
things
no
into it.
tools.
How about we
No.
talk about
No.
how about we talk about like in your upbringings, what physical discipline have you guys experienced? So Amina talked about hers.
I
Now
think
there's-
mine was mostly
I
like
talked a
I would
little
just
bit
get
about
like
Yeah,
slapped
you just
and
talk about
stuff.
more.
I
Okay.
did get the belen though, the rolling pin.
Oh my.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
I did get the rolling pin.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think I would bring like anything into it. Probably just my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, it's kind of I'm not to the I think the extent that Amina had, but like it was kind of like whatever was kind of available for my
There.
parents. For the most part, it was typically like their own like hands or whatever. And again, like for me, it was a lot more like my mom. I think my mom or like even my grandparents. I spent a lot more time with them. And I think with the way my dad was, we kind of like were like, oh, he's a little bit like he won't really hit us and stuff like that. So we'll be more like we could get away with more stuff when we were around my dad or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
same.
So, but yeah, so that's why, and like, I don't know how it was. Like, you said you didn't really get.
So like
That was
not as much as probably you guys. Like my parents are more like first gen or second
Second gen.
gen, like they're born and raised here type, right? So like their parents are the ones that beat the crap out of them, and they
Yeah.
made a vow. They're like, yo, because we got our crap beat out of us, we're not gonna beat our kids type thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We still got like slapped here and there if they got like really mad. I think the
Mm-hmm.
worst that happened would be like with my Quran teacher. I'd be like reading Quran, and every
Yeah.
time you make a mistake, you get like stabbed by a
Yep.
lead pencil, like
Oh
that
my
that
God.
thing.
Oh really?
Really?
Yeah.
I got there's a little stick that's attached to the vacuum, the
Yeah.
like extender. I had
Yeah.
that, so like my Quran teacher would always just hit like you'd like.
Yo, but
after you
low
mess
key that
up,
worked.
yeah.
I'm
It
not
did,
gonna lie. Like
honestly,
I'm
it
like
did.
I'm so scared. I'm like,
I
please don't make a
literally-
mistake. Please don't
Yeah,
make a
it's-
I
mistake.
literally
That's when I
learned.
don't
I
agree.
didn't have that experience. I learned Quran off of Skype,
Oh,
so
okay.
I never
Oh,
got
you got
that
lucky, huh?
experience.
So what do they
Yeah.
do? Like end the call every time you messed up, or?
Dude, yell on the
You
phone.
should be like,
Dude,
have your
yell.
mom next to you with some sort of
To
stick.
hit me, no.
And-
Alhamdulillah.
I mean, okay, so I think that's the whole like psychology of it. Because I experienced it with Quran, right?
Yeah.
Like I was reading Quran, and the only thing going through my head was don't make a mistake because I don't want to get hit, rather than
It
the love for
conditioned
the
you. It
Quran, rather
conditioned you
than
into like,
like,
as the
that's-
fear.
it
that's a-
worked,
that's a
but the
bad
wrong
thing, though.
way.
Yeah, exactly.
It worked,
Yeah.
but it was like the wrong
The
way,
wrong-
which is kind of ties back into like the household stuff,
But
right?
honestly, when you're that young as a kid, I don't think you would fully understand that. Like, oh my god, like I love the Quran, like I want to learn it properly.
that should be how it is,
It
though.
should be,
that
yeah, but I feel like-
association is still there, and you're still
Mhm.
gonna associate reading the Quran with reading, like with pain, like physical.
Like now,
pain.
whenever
I
I think,
feel-
whenever I make a mistake when I'm reading, right, I just think
Does that-
about
it comes
like,
up,
Yeah.
oh,
even-
And
yeah, yeah.
So
you
you have like
think about it.
You don't
PTSD
want
off of it.
that.
you're
I
telling
mean,
me.
I guess if that's what you want to call it, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know. I feel like even with I need like the type of beating that I would get, it was always like you know, if you didn't listen or whatever, it was like I don't think my like your parents, like I don't think any of our parents really like were outwardly like that's like the first thing that they would do. Like I don't think they wanted to beat you. Like I don't
It's
think they
like
wanted
last
to do it,
resort,
right?
you know?
I think like you know like they're verbally telling you to do something, and like if you were disobeying or whatever, at least a couple times, then you know that's when that would come in hand, right? I guess that's what I would kind of say that I guess like again like not to the extent I guess that they did like, but in the future maybe you know if they were ever to like happen, I would just do like a very minimal, because I think it does shape you as a person as well, because like there were definitely times where I feel like I could have like that I needed it or I deserved it, to kind of look in the
Yeah.
mirror like, oh, you know what, like wow, like I deserved that, like I did something stupid or I did something very
No, I
like
definitely
bad or
felt that.
whatever. And then but I don't know, I think that's a very interesting way to go about it. But I also like I don't think you should instill fear as a parent, right, to your kids, right? Like
Yeah.
I think like if you're not afraid to do something because you think you're gonna get beat up, that's a bad mindset or a bad
Yeah.
way. What I respected a lot, like I was like sometimes like some of my cousins or some of my even friends who were like, you know, they wouldn't do certain things because they didn't want to disappoint their parents.
That's the big,
Exactly.
Which is
that's
big.
the strategy that
Which
my
is,
parents
which
did.
is good.
Shift.
And
Yeah.
that's what I find very important over, you know, the whole, you know, I don't want to do something because my parents are gonna beat me up.
See, I
Yeah.
had that shift. You know, like for me when I was little, like I always had that fear. I was like, oh my god, like my parents are gonna get mad at me, like whatever. But as I grew older, I definitely noticed that shift. Like I wasn't scared to like, oh my god, like what are they gonna say? I was scared that like I hurt them, I disappointed them, I didn't
Right.
live up to their expectations.
Right, and that hurts more than any.
Yeah,
I mean,
anything
I didn't
else.
experience as much as you guys, but that would hurt me more than
It
any
did.
slap
It
or
does.
beat or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because your parents' approval is what you
Right.
live for, right? Like, you want them to be happy, you want to have a great relationship with your
course.
parents, and then like kind of like to go off of that. My parents use strategies like that in my upbringing, and just like how Amina said, I think I turned out fine too, alhamdulillah. Like showing respect to elders, everything. Like
Yeah.
they tell you how it is the first time, right? They get mad at you, and then you guys laugh at me for this, but you get grounded or stuff taken away. I'm sure you guys probably just skipped that whole thing and just got hit, right?
I don't know what a grounding was.
Yeah.
Or is,
So they use
yeah.
that, and then the final straw would be like, I'm disappointed in you. I don't want to talk to you. Like, just,
Yeah.
like they won't even look at you. Then it's like, damn. Then you have like within yourself,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
yo, I messed up. That's like my mirror and like looking
Yeah.
into the mirror thing.
And it definitely grows over time.
Exactly.
You get, like it grows. You have more
Exactly.
respect for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for everybody. What role do you think culture played in how we were disciplined?
I mean, I
I
think
don't know if religion played a role, so I guess it'll be all culture, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think he was Exhibit A, right? Like,
Yeah.
saying that like you know his grandparents would beat him or whatever, just like because you were second gen
Yeah.
now, right? So like for us, you know, as first gen, like our parents are like the cult, like coming from like you know like my parents both from Pakistan and India, yours from India, you know, like it's just like from their culture, I guess this is what they do. Like this is what they, or at
Yeah.
least this is what they
were
what they were raised to
exposed
do,
to,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. But I guess I think there is a shift that's happening. I guess like in the world now, like I feel like younger kids are seeing that like you know maybe this wasn't as necessary or as like you know like a productive way of raising your kids or whatever,
But do you guys? Okay, I do want to ask you guys. We kind of see how the kids are nowadays, and if you look at them, honestly, I was like, were you not disciplined as a child that you're
I feel like we were the
acting
same way
like
though.
this.
I feel like we
You
were the
think
same
so?
way. Yeah, 100%.
Wait, what do you mean? It's
Like when you see
Even
kids nowadays talking about like
extent.
acting up and talking back and stuff like that, we were the same when we were their age.
But I think
right?
it's different. You can't like with the way the world has shifted with these like with the generation of kids like with like technology and like I just feel like kids are raised differently now.
Yeah.
right.
So that like it's just I don't know how like parents these days go about it necessarily. Like
Right
whether
now it's
they,
like managing screen time.
Yeah,
and stuff
right,
Like that.
exactly.
That's like the main.
Yeah.
Not
You
even discipline,
got
but just
Caucasian
upbringing.
kids out there saying shut up to their parents, and like I do understand that like we might have been a little more disrespectful than our parents' generation, but I would rather die. I'm 25 years old. I would rather die than say something like that to
Yeah.
my mom.
Yep.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and it's not even out of fear of like any type of retaliation,
It's just
which to
respect.
be honest she would still do. But it's just like
It's all
that.
about basic respect, and I feel like
Respect is
kids
right.
do
like there's
not
a
have
way
respect
that
for their
you
parents.
talk to your elders,
Sound like an auntie,
and
bro.
Yeah.
I do
These kids
like
nowadays.
follow the philosophy that like you don't get respect just because you're an elder, but at the end of the day, like it's still ingrained in me to just at least not. I don't know.
Yeah,
how to
kids
say
don't
it, but
have
Or to
that
say
basic
assalamu alaikum when they
respect.
see
still
someone.
be courteous,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
I don't see that at all in kids these days. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be so
and
honest.
so I'm saying that's lacking, and I do sometimes look at like really, really bad kids, and I'm like, damn, they need their ass beat.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if it's because they need their. I feel like
See,
I feel like there's a lot more to parenting than
Yeah.
getting your ass beat. Though.
I
That's
agree,
the thing,
but I
right?
feel like it's still a
Obviously, but that's
factor.
still, like,
I
it's
think
still
it's
the
definitely
thing- it's
still a
the thing
factor.
that comes to my head, and
Yeah.
like for me it definitely is I have like a lot of unlearning to do, and we're all speaking in hypotheticals. None of us have kids yet.
Yeah.
but,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
like black culture especially is very it's family oriented, but at the same time it's also like it's a hierarchy. Like, you know, the parents are at the top, or in my case the grandparents, and then it kind of just goes down. Where I have issues with, I guess, some of like the cultural things, cultural norms that I grew up with, is that children are not really people. They're not like individuals. They're more so just seen as extensions of their parents. And I think that's part of the reason that it's so easy to treat them, you know, certain ways. And so that's why it was so easy for me to like get like physically disciplined. Or no, I can't say that. I can't say physically disciplined. To get beaten the way that I was, because children are not necessarily like fully formed human beings. At least not like in black culture, or in my black culture, obviously. And that's something that a lot of people in my generation are like trying to undo and unlearn. And that's something that I'm trying to unlearn. Like my sister is a therapist for children with autism, and she saw something that kind of just like blew her mind. She had a kid or whatever, and somebody was like, hey, can I have a hug? And the kid was like, no. And the person was like, okay. And then my sister, because like she had been ingrained with this, she was like, oh, you know, they're just a kid, you know, you can pick them up, you know, and they couldn't say anything about it. And it was more of just this idea that like if a kid, you know, gives or takes away permission to like, you know, be around them or, you know, be with them or anything like that, then you actually should listen to them.
Respect
Yeah,
that.
of
And so
course.
like respect them as
Because-
fully formed human beings. And that's
Exactly.
something that like to this day that a lot of my family members still have problems with.
Respecting
and
kids. pretty
respecting
much.
kids.
I
And
understand,
I know
yeah.
that's something, see, because I also grew up in the Desi community, and I didn't get respect from, you know, my Desi peers either, like from like their parents or anything like that, and like my teachers. And so this idea that kids are not people
Yeah.
is part of the reason that it's so easy to like beat us. But it's
Yeah. I think respect you should treat an 80-year-old the same respect that you would treat like a kid,
Like an
right? Like you
80-year-old,
should
yeah.
always remember that or keep that in the back of your mind.
they're
that,
still
you know,
people.
Like,
We're
they're still
all like
people.
creations of Allah,
Exactly.
and like nobody is more than anybody else,
Yeah.
like in the grand
Yep.
scheme of things.
And those are all like morals that we live by because culture in our house, that's how it is. That's also religious, dude. Like
Yeah.
respecting elders, that's
Yeah.
like written in the book. Like that's how we're supposed to live our life. That's the son of the prophet, right?
Respecting
Yeah.
youth
Sallallahu
is
alaihi wasallam.
also there.
It's actually no, I know 100%. And then on the flip side, to kind of talk about that point, there was this hadith I heard once about I don't know if it was a hadith or not, but the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was asked about respecting elders in the masjid, right? And especially like if you're like, for example, you know, like the closer you are to the imam, like saf-wise, the more ibadat or the more like reward you get during
Right.
salah, right? So if a kid's sitting in the first saf and an elder comes, they still need to ask the kid to move. They can't be like, oh, I'm gonna take your spot because
Yeah.
you're a kid.
Right.
And the kid doesn't have to give up that spot. They could hold their ground. They could be like, hey, no, I'm gonna keep this spot. And
Give just
there's no
as much
punishment
right,
for that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's their right. So just like even in the Quran, even with the Prophet ﷺ, like
Yeah.
kids have rights, kids need to be respected. And I feel like just carry if we just literally carry those principles over to parenting, and it sounds a lot simpler than it probably is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's why I just don't see the need for physical abuse physical beating, physical harm, physical discipline, whatever you want to call it. I feel like just like how we talked about like disappointment, grounding, yelling, like there's so many other ways I feel like you could go about it. And I guess I was just raised that way.
Yeah.
And I see my brothers being raised the same way too. And I've been kind of like a third parent because like my brothers are a lot younger than me, so I've been having to do a lot of those things too. Like I feel like there's so many other ways to go about it, and especially like you don't want that your kids have PTSD or
Yeah.
like to like hate that
You
or
don't want
Yeah.
them-
because that's happened to my
Another-
parents.
Yeah,
My-
you
no,
don't want them
Yeah.
resenting you.
my parents got beat so bad that they
Yeah.
made a vow not to beat their kids, because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
That's the thing.
The
Like,
effect
do you
it has
think
on you, yeah.
Right.
but do you think abuse or like physical discipline translate to like how you are as a person in general? Just like how you are like again, like not just with like kids or whatever, like maybe you become more of an aggressive type of person, like seeing that
100%.
like
Yes.
you
I
are
was just
being
gonna
treated
say,
aggressively. It's like that's another bad, like that's
yes.
that's
I
that's not
agree.
something that's good, right?
Yeah.
Like you can never.
No, I was just gonna say that, just based off of my own experience, I feel like it definitely did. I definitely did have that respect and adab and the manners, and like you said, it could have came like without that too. But I don't think that it shaped me in any sort of like negative way where I carried those traits of like aggression or whatever.
Oh well, it did for me.
Why are you looking at me like? Listen to me throwing my phones at you guys is different.
It's happiness, pure love.
You
Thank
guys,
you.
first
We
of
love
all,
it.
deserve
You know that
it.
freaking LeBron
We
meme?
deserve. Yep. Like,
You guys, first of all, deserve
Wow.
it, okay? And you two
Okay.
aren't even my victims.
That's okay.
I
Right,
know,
we
I'm a-
spectate
well,
this.
yes, we
See?
witnessed the
Listen,
abuse that
do you-
is
did you guys see
handed
that?
from you.
No,
Amina.
because
It's crazy.
it's the opposite for me. I actually do have like a bit of a temper, and I do think that part of it is just because is like the way I was treated, but also kind of it was my example to go off of, not in the best way of like how to, I guess, react to certain situations, and so both me and my sister, we have our mom's temper, and it's something that we often have to like rein in, but also on the less horrifying side is like a lot of the ways that I was treated is like my blueprint for how I don't want to treat my kids when they come along. And I said I was going to write a book, and I used to be joking about it, but I think
Do it.
I'm actually going to do it. But like,
Inshallah.
and it wasn't just like
Inshallah.
being how I was treated by my mom, but also how I was treated by like classmates,
Other
and
people in the
teachers, and other
community.
people, and
Other elders.
because
Yeah.
I had a lot of things, like a lot of mistreatment from a lot of people, and what ended up happening was I became somebody who did the opposite of those things because I hated how it made me feel, so I tried to make sure that everybody else felt better about themselves. So, like when I was a student at MCC, the older kids were extremely mean to me, so what I did is that I started being very, very nice to the younger kids, like the younger grades and everything, and like I had a reputation for that by the time I finished MCC. And it's like more things like that is how I was treated wasn't okay. So like now I want to make sure that I don't treat other people that way. So I did learn something from it, but at the same time I do still have that temper that I'm working on. But it's a
I
work
think
in
everyone
progress.
does have a little bit of temper.
Yeah, but no.
Like the flip side of it, right, is
Yeah.
like the kids that you guys talk about nowadays that are like they don't have adab, they don't respect elders.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not even that they lack physical punishment, right? It's like they
It's
lack
not the
punishment.
lack of physical
Punishment at
It's a
all.
lack. It's
They
a lack of
like
discipline at all.
consequences and accountability.
Exactly.
Like, 'cause
exactly.
I still, even when I wasn't, getting beat up or whatever, I still had like accountability and
Exactly.
responsibility. Like, I feel like that's something that's present in a lot of houses of like with families of color, because consequences are a lot more serious for us when things like go wrong and everything. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it, but like white families, they don't have that same burden and that same like guilt of making sure that their kids make the right choices and stay safe.
100%.
And I think that's part of the reason that like me, when I see people acting out, 9 times out of 10 it's a white family, and it's a white child that has no like regulation. They have like all this freedom where they're allowed to say and do whatever they want, and their parents are kind of just like sitting there taking it. It's like,
You ever see those kids
I'm-
on leashes?
Okay, no, that's
Have you ever seen
different.
that?
That's different.
No.
Have you ever
I've
seen
seen
that?
those in
That's
You know what I'm talking
completely
about.
No, I know what you're talking about, but those are the kids that like when you take them to a really crowded space and the kids run when you like take them out of
It's
their
like a
stroller
pet,
or
dude.
whatever.
Literally, like, I'm
And so
telling
like
you,
I
I've seen
had,
it.
well, I have ADHD, so I was a hyperactive child. But then I also have like a few cousins who are also extremely hyperactive, and one of them, every time we took him out of the stroller, he would Usain Bolt, and we would lose him because it would be really crowded. So
That's why- okay.
I understand, but some of them do it just because the other kids misbehave.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right. I mean, I think like a lot of the stuff we talk about here, like we're talking about right now, once we're actually parents,
We'll
it's gonna be a
see.
lot harder to
We'll see
enact
what
what we're
happens.
saying,
We'll see,
right?
you know,
It's
if
really
we're
easy to
also-
call out the flaws, be like this is how you should
Yeah.
parent,
If
this
If
is
we're
not.
still
We're
doing
not
the
parents. We're
podcast,
working
we're
on
gonna
it.
review this episode
Yeah.
and we're gonna talk about it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Any other points about? Okay, so are you guys still firm on you're gonna beat your kids and you're gonna beat
Man,
your kids?
I don't want you to
Honestly.
say B. I want-
Okay, physically
Physically
disciplined. I'm
disciplined.
sorry.
Yeah, no, because like what happened to us, we were beat, but like
Maybe a couple love taps.
none of us are gonna.
What does that
act-
mean?
what's
Like
the
just like
love
little.
tap?
None of us are gonna
Yeah, just a
actually
little love
beat our
tap.
kids.
Like, come
Like,
on,
we
buddy.
already know that.
Come on, buddy.
buddy.
Be better.
That,
Just don't do that
BS.
next time. Alright?
No, I can't.
Something like that, you know. No need to. I feel like what the parents would do, right? Like I feel like my parents, like or at least like the Desi culture of parents, no one would like punch or do anything. They would slap.
Slap.
Right.
And like I don't know if you guys have seen the Hassan Minaj stand up, but like that's those like that he had. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about,
Like
yeah.
he like slapping, like literally, it's like it hurts your soul.
Oh, I see
Like
that.
you take it to your heart, where it's like, man, like that is like a very hard form of like.
So are you gonna slap your
damn.
kids?
No, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to do that because of that, because I feel like it's just like you hurt them like in their heart too. You're not just hurting them like like.
Wow, mom.
So you're not gonna
raw.
physically discipline them.
I just told you, maybe like a couple love taps.
That's
That's
not
This isn't disciplining at all.
So then yeah, I guess I probably.
He must be
will.
politically correct. He's gonna slap his kids.
No,
Alright, you?
no.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I think I will slap my kids, but inshallah, I will not take it any further than that. I'm not gonna throw
Physically
things at
discipline.
them.
But
I will
why?
discipline what do you mean? Why?
Like,
Well,
why would you?
Why are
do
you gonna
that?
slap your kids?
Let's say
I just
discipline,
feel like
guys.
I know you said that like.
Why are you
there's
setting
different
yourself
ways.
up for failure? Why are you setting your kids up for failure? Why are you thinking that
Are you
they're
calling
letting
me a
it?
failure as a
Why,
parent?
no, I'm saying why are you thinking? Why are you thinking? Why before you as a parent? Why are you letting thinking? "Oh, I'm gonna beat them already.
I'm not.
Because they
Wait,
are
you're
gonna do
supposed
something
to
wrong.
be
Listen,
your son.
I am
No,
saying
I'm not, 'cause I'm-
that if
He switched.
necessary.
I switched. I literally, I
if
flipped the
necessary-
switch right
I don't
now.
know what you're doing right now, boss. But if necessary, then if I feel like this is what I need to resort to, then yeah,
Resort
I
to.
will
Resort to
resort.
Resort, baby. Dessert.
Okay, all right.
If I do, if I feel like okay, like if I need to slap them, like I said, it's the last thing. If
It's
I
like a last resort after everything
yeah,
else.
if nothing else.
Even
I
after
Yeah.
you're disappointed in them, you're just gonna come back out of nowhere and just don't talk to me. Bye. Actually,
if,
What? What?
I'm just thinking, like I've had this thing in my head before too a lot that like what would I do? Like raising my kids is a really really scary thing for me. I don't know how they're gonna turn out. You know, inshallah they turn out great for all of us. It's easier said than yeah, it's easier said than done.
But is it
but
dependent on
It's
us?
easy to talk
It's
while it's
dependent
being
on us, right? Our
hypothetical.
kids
It
are gonna
is,
turn
it
out
is.
depending on how we
Yeah.
raise them, right?
as Amina
So,
said before, they think, or I guess currently parents think we're an extension of them, right? So
yeah.
we gotta make sure we don't have that
You
same
gotta
mentality.
make sure that you could give
Oh.
your kids personhood, and then you're already in like way better shape.
You want to
than-
empower them,
Yes.
and then you even know, even with like most and like kids with disabilities, like parents will just look past it, and just like, hey,
Yep.
just do better, slap, boom.
Yep,
You know,
yep,
like
yep.
you gotta be better. Now we're
That's
more
a-
educated.
I think we do
That's
have to be
especially
more
not
aware.
okay.
I think we
Yeah.
definitely have
Yeah.
to be aware of what we're doing and why we're doing it. Like,
Right.
you know, if you are going to slap your kid, think about why you're going to slap them.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like your first reaction, like, oh my God, he's acting up, let me slap him or hit him, something.
And think about the repercussions
Yeah.
of it, right?
No, definitely. Like, that's what I'm saying. If I feel like I need to resort to it, then I will. Obviously, I won't take it too extreme or whatever, but if that's needed, then I will do it.
Side note question. As a dad, are you gonna have heart to hearts with your kids?
100%.
Are you going to have what?
Heart to heart, cause you know like the
Heart to heart.
Desi dad
No.
thing is like
They
you're
don't.
never ever
That's what I'm
gonna have a
saying.
heart to heart with your kid.
I-
You're just like,
100%. I
Yes,
would-
no, bye.
Especially because I know I never had that with my dad, so like I would 100%.
Did you
do
have
with
that
my
with
kids.
your dad?
I did. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, because
I
again,
did.
you're second gen, right? So
Yeah.
it's like
I
that
did
makes
too,
sense,
yeah.
right? So like,
No, I did too.
I did not. I'm sorry.
I did not.
I
Or
was
with your parent, like your mom
single.
or
Yeah,
dad.
I definitely had it with both of my parents, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
No, I will do it, but I didn't,
Inshallah.
I didn't
Yeah.
really have it.
Inshallah, we will be set up for success, and we'll have the
Yes,
right
Inshallah.
mindset
Laz.
going
We're not
there.
gonna call anybody a failure. as a
No, I'm
parent.
not-
Laz switched up so
He
fast.
did. I
I'm not
don't know.
saying no. I'm not. That's
Devil's
not what I was trying to. I'm
advocate
not
right
saying you're a
now.
failure. I'm just saying like, well, like if the mentality is like,
It's
I'm
obviously not
100%,
first. It's not like my first choice to
Yeah,
slap him.
right,
I'm
right.
gonna resort to other things. Talk
right,
to them.
right,
let
right,
them.
right,
Whatever. Like I said, if needed.
yeah.
No,
No,
but yeah,
no, no,
if they clown, I'm still. I mean, if they're
Yeah,
like
like if
acting
you
a whole
have
clown,
to, then, I mean,
yeah,
sometimes
no,
you
I
do
might,
have
I
to.
just
You don't
Yeah.
want to, but sometimes you have to.
Like, I'm
That's just my thing on it. I know like people think differently.
definitely not doing what was done to me, but I'm
People.
still.
People.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, we definitely don't want to take away from like any. We don't want to say that promoting like abuse or whatever.
Right.
Obviously.
But at the
Oh, yeah,
same
no,
time, as Amina
100%.
said, we don't want like white kid parent kids, right?
Mhm.
Like
Absolutely not.
Just stay within your
respect,
limits.
respect.
I will die.
Honestly, I want to get a book on this from like the Islamic perspective and see like what's the best way. I'm sure
Yeah.
people have come out and like written books about it, or
Ask
Maybe Amina
Imam.
will write a book
like
too
yeah,
about
right.
it.
The best way to actually raise your kids
Oh.
Islamically and from the hadiths and from the Sunnah and
Mhm.
And that's
from the
the Imam.
Quran.
He just had
I
a
wanna look into
baby, so
that.
he's doing it like he's doing it in real time.
Oh yeah, Imam Ibrahim,
Yeah.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll see that process. So
Oh.
cool. I think that was a
All
good.
right, that was a really good
conversation.
conversation. Okay, you guys, we'll see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Sounds-